Now,
Recording in
hey
progress.
everybody, we just got done reviewing Rebel Moon Part 1. So go check that out. See what our
Our
thoughts.
podcast, not the movie.
Well, you could do both.
You
if
do
you
both.
want.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I
So
loved
go
it.
see- Michael gave it the thumb sideways. No. Actually, no. So that movie might be quotable, but for all the wrong reasons. So I thought we'd look at the year 2023 in the form of movie quotes. So you guys have to guess
Oh no.
the movie
Oh.
that the quote is from, and then bonus points if you get the character right, okay?
Okay.
All right, so first let's look at what was actually the top grossing movies for the US last year. Barbie number 1, Super Mario number 2, Spider-Man number 3, Guardians number 4, Oppenheimer, Little Mermaid, Ant-Man and the Wasp, John Wick, Sound of Freedom, Taylor Swift. I don't have a quote from the Taylor Swift movie because it's not a movie, it's a concert.
Just shake it off.
And I didn't want to look at Taylor Swift lyrics, so I don't have one for number 10. But
Me and her is just bad blood, dude.
we got 9 movie quotes, so you guys got to guess. So here is the first one. I'm feeling like I'm hugging Godzilla. What movie is that from?
Oppenheimer.
Incorrect.
Are we doing turns or how are we doing this?
Just you
By
can shout
turns, I'm
them out if
guessing?
you want.
I feel like that has to be Barbie, right?
I don't know. I've never seen Barbie.
I'm
gonna say
saw
yes.
it, but I don't remember. But I don't feel like that would fit in anything else.
It's not Barbie.
I need that list of movies again.
Is it Guardians?
It is not Guardians.
It's got to be
Okay,
Ant-Man, right?
Ant-Man. Yeah.
It's Ant-Man.
Ant-Man.
And it is Scott Lang who says it.
Plus, I don't remember any of their names in Ant-Man.
Never saw Ant-Man.
So, okay, let's go to the second quote. No, it's not change the color. Is anyone ever going to tell the truth about what's happening here?
Sound of Freedom.
No.
No. Oh, okay.
Barbie.
No.
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer. So point for Thomas. Thomas, do you know the character who said it?
Is it Oppenheimer?
It is Oppenheimer.
Okay.
So 2 points for Thomas. We will go back to question 3. Does it words?
Barbie?
No.
Spider-Man?
No.
That's going to be
Guardians?
Yeah.
Guardians, yes. And do you know the character who says this, Jared?
I don't know.
Okay, so Jared gets 1 point.
Is it
Is it Adam?
No.
Is it James Gunn's wife?
No.
Oh.
Michael, any guesses?
Does it words? Is it just Peter Quill?
No.
No. Okay.
So it is actually the rabbit thing.
That makes
Her name
sense.
is Floor. So next one. Get your clown claws off of me.
Taylor Swift.
We don't have a quote for that one.
He's not in this.
Clown claws off.
Is it Little Mermaid?
No.
I didn't
No.
see that. Okay. Get your clown claws off of me.
Super Mario?
Yes, it is Super Mario.
Mm.
I'm gonna say Mario.
No.
I don't get another guess, do I?
No. One
Oh,
guess.
Get your clown claws off of me. I'm gonna say Luigi.
No.
Dang it. That's what I was
Uh,
going to say.
is it the Penguin?
No. It is Cranky Kong.
Well, that's why we know it. No one would like that character.
Next one.
Did he?
When God tells you what to do, you cannot hesitate.
That has to be Sound of Freedom, right?
It's Sound of Freedom.
I'm just gonna say, yeah, that is Jim Caviezel, actually, right? I don't know. I don't remember his character's name.
No,
It's not
it's not.
really.
His wife.
No.
No, it's the guy that helps him when he's in.
Yeah.
Oh,
His name's Vampiro, I think.
I don't. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember that scene. Yeah.
Okay, so Jerry gets a point and Michael gets a point. Next one. We got a deal? I mean, I just gave you the premium package, kid.
John Wick.
No.
What are the movies
I was
again?
about to say.
No, I'm not telling you because
okay.
then,
Is it obvious if you tell us why?
yeah, it'll be too obvious.
We got a deal. I mean, I just give you the premium package, kid. The top grossing movies of the year were premium
Spider-Man?
package.
No.
I'm gonna say Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid is
Yeah.
correct. Do you know the character who said it?
I
Scuttle?
would say Ursula.
It is Ursula.
Oh,
That was just
All right.
deductive reasoning, guys. That's how we do it here.
Moving on.
Nice.
It's like I've been in a dream where I was really invested in the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League.
Barbie.
Barbie is correct.
Ken.
No. Who says it? It is not Ken.
Ken. No.
is it America Ferrera?
No.
just gonna say
Mike,
I'm just gonna say Barbie.
it is Barbie.
Yeah. I was like, I
Oh.
feel like it's her in the. Yeah, am I the only one that saw that?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Also, that doesn't make much sense because she's not from our world, right?
I guess they get the movies though.
they get to see them for their shelf in the TV in the toy stores. You know.
We got one more. We got a couple more. How you do anything is how you do everything.
Spider-Man.
No.
Oh, that wasn't my guess then. What's left on the list? I'm thinking.
Oh, Godzilla.
No.
Oh,
Was that on the list?
Godzilla was not on.
was that on
list.
the? I don't remember the list. You won't go back to it.
John Wick.
It is John
yeah.
Wick.
Oh
Ooh.
yeah.
You know who says it?
What's his face?
Let's say Winston.
Not Winston.
Who's Winston?
Donnie Yen's character.
Not Donnie Yen's character.
Is it
Michael?
Lawrence Fishburne's character?
It's not Mike
dang.
Lawrence. It's the Marquis.
Marquis.
I don't know anyone's name in that movie either, except for John. That's all I got.
Jan.
Is his name John?
John
Oh, yeah.
Wick.
John Wick.
Yeah.
Is that what
Like,
they
you know,
call him?
Yeah, John. He's like, oh, you know, John Carter. John. His name's John.
Well, what's his name? Calls him Jonathan all the time.
Yeah, Jonathan.
Sure.
It's something else.
Jonathan.
What's
Okay.
the- John.
You almost said it like him.
Thank you. I
Jonathan.
was trying.
All right. You hit me with a bagel.
Spider-Man.
Oh, Spider-Man.
Yep, Michael got it first.
The Spot.
The spot is right.
Oh, dang. Nice. I
I
need to
think
rewatch
that's
that
the
movie.
last one.
I feel like that has to be, yeah.
And that was the last one.
You never rewatch
That's a good
movies,
one.
Michael.
There are certain movies you
No,
have to
it's
watch, and That's
weird.
one of them you have to, because that was so good.
Yeah, Jurassic Park, and you watched it like twice.
I've seen that. I watched it a lot as a kid. I just hadn't seen it in a long time since I was a kid.
Mm.
I watched those movies a lot when I was a kid. 1 and 2, man, and I never watched 3. I think I only saw 3 twice, but
All right. So movie quotes. Jared and Thomas tied with 4 points, and Michael won with 5 points.
I won a
So
trivia thing.
He won a trivia
That's
thing.
never happened.
That's true. I don't think,
His
I don't
first
think it
win.
has.
I don't
That
think
hasn't
so.
happened. I don't think ever.
Dang.
I'm a winner today.
This is going to be your year,
This is
Michael.
my year, guys. Going down.
It's
The
gonna
year
be
of the
crap for
Michael.
it's gonna be crap for everybody else, but it's gonna be Michael's year.
About freaking.
All right, bonus stuff. You guys have a lot. We were off for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I got some.
Yeah, I got a
stuff.
lot.
I have less than I should, but I also
Okay.
packed a lot in this past week. I got a movie for all the Ariano Bros, but Jonah's not here. But I
Oh, shoot.
unintentionally got a movie for each of you.
but not
Oh.
me. Nice. Okay, cool.
I don't
know,
think
whatever.
so. No.
All right, who wants to go
I
first?
think I did.
Luna, tell us who goes first. She don't care at
her
all.
butt. She's not.
What'd she say, Jared? What'd she say?
I don't know. She's just looking that way.
What do you say, Luna?
So cute. She's like,
I think she's looking at
do
Michael.
not care. She's looking at me. I'm gonna go. We'll rewind weeks ago. I have not really much to say about this because I don't remember it that well. But the finale of Murder at the End of the World,
Oh yes,
we
I
did
have
finish
too.
that. Did finish that. Everyone was talking about the kind of twist at the end, which you and I kind of were predicting. There's got to be something to this, and it was like who the killer was, and I was like, it was kind of obvious. I
Yeah,
feel like that was the only
very
thing it could
obvious.
be. It was just the only thing that was interesting-ish was how he did it, and so I was like, okay, well,
It's very. I mean, if you have that kind of character, you
Yeah.
know it's gonna be that kind
Yeah.
of character.
it's kind of it's
Um,
exactly set up.
Was
for
it a candlestick in the basement?
Yes, it was.
Oh, kind of, yeah. Huh? Yeah. So, like you said, it would be interesting to see how he did. I guess it was kind of interesting how he.
Yeah, the manipulation that he did was
Yeah, the manipulation, but how they defeat him was not interesting at all. That was super lame.
Yeah.
You think they would have pulled like a Captain Kirk and he like tricks him into death?
Oh
but,
yeah,
but no,
yeah.
it was super lame.
Yeah, so the show was kind of
It was a candlestick in the basement, as Jerry says.
So yeah, just okay for me for that show. Wasn't anything to write home about. I did
Yeah.
watch the first 2 episodes of the new Percy Jackson show, which I meant to watch more, but I haven't watched more. I think there's 4 out, maybe 5. Visually stunning. Like for a Disney show, this is visually. I was blown away by how well or how
Really?
good this show looks. The acting is. It's child acting and it's cheesy, but it fits Percy Jackson because Percy Jackson's very kind of
Yeah.
not childish, but for children and very kind of like that. Like if you ever listen to the audiobooks, the guy who reads it does Pegasus voice like, "Hey guys," and you're like, okay, well now we know where we're at here. Yes,
Does it fit better than the movies
Yes.
did? Because like the movies was kind of, or the first one was kind of interesting, but the thing is they made him way too old, and so
and it's also the kid. I really like the main kid a lot.
okay.
But and the mom does a really good job as well. But I forget what she's in. She's really good. But it's it definitely feels less like a 2000 superhero movie and more of like Percy Jackson, what it should be.
Because
And everyone's
they're supposed to be like
so far
12 or
loving it, but-
13, right?
And there's very little, and they definitely cast them very like the poor kid's voice cracks all the time, and I actually really find it endearing. So, but yeah, I need to watch some
It's
more
real.
of that. I need to. I'll probably do that this week as well. So I've got a few things to watch.
Wouldn't it be cool to give Pegasus a cool voice?
Maybe, I don't know, but they give him he does a horse voice for him in the audiobook, and so that was that. So yeah, Percy Jackson. Then the Christmas.
Oh, wait, real fast. I forgot to say at Murder at the End of the World, the best part was the end music. The end music was really cool.
Don't remember it, but I'll take your word for it. And then Doctor Who, the Christmas special. Let me rewind my brain to this. What was it about? I remember now. Okay, so we got introduced to the new Doctor. I thought he was I really like him so far. I feel like I usually, the Doctors usually cast pretty well for your charisma or whatever, but plays the part really well. The new companion, I wasn't quite struck with yet. I feel like she could grow, but I'm hoping it felt very much kind of like a. I don't know. It also might have just been the story. The story was kind of not so much there for me, but I feel like none of the Christmas specials really hit that hard story wise. But I'm definitely excited to see where they go. I think they're starting in April for that show, so excited to get more to that. Then what do we get here? Oh yeah. So I guess we'll save the book for the end. We'll keep going with shows and movies. So the 3 movies that we watched here, we got the first one was Air. I watched unintentionally, but because Jonah mentioned it in his top 10. Excellent movie, of course. You get. It's one thing about. I was thinking while watching this, I was like, Matt Damon. I don't think has ever done a bad performance. The guy can do just anything, and I'm like, you're good. You're just always good, even if you're not standoutish. You're just always. You're there and you're solid, man. Matt Damon.
The Wall.
Never
The
saw
Wall
it.
he's fine
But is
in
he
it.
good
It's
in
just a
it?
stupid movie.
It's a bad movie, but is he good in it?
It's kind of
I've never
weird.
seen
He
it.
does the Charlie Hunnam Irish accent thing randomly. Not consistently. It's weird.
Did I ever
I
tell you
don't think
guys?
the movie's bad because of him. It's just a bad movie.
Did I ever tell you guys the one time Alex and his friend asked me to go audition for a play? I was playing a video game. I think I was playing Dragon's Dogma, the original one. And they were like, hey, we're going to go audition for a play. You want to come? And so I was like, oh, sure, whatever. So I went, and they wanted to do an English accent, and I was nervous, so I came out immediately with an Irish accent. And I was like, oh no! So I had to like change it mid thing as I was going. Needless to say, none of us got called in for a second round, and we left.
You're listening to too much Hoosier there.
There you
so.
go. But yeah,
Give me my Lucky Charms. One tough tea.
but but yeah, Air. It was such an interesting. I feel like with most of these kind of like Tetris or whatever, you see the buildup of, oh, they're all panicking. Is this going to be good? What is it going to be? But like Nike and Jordan's partnership is such a big, like, I mean, that's God tier partnerships, S tier of whatever you're talking. So like all of them being terrifying. It was so interesting to see like the build up to it and everyone like, this is a crazy idea. You're nuts. Why would we do this? And then I don't know. I thought it was very, very good. Then for Jared, I believe you had this on your list. Creed 3 I watched this week at work. Agree with you. I think it was still really good. It lost, I feel like it lost what it could have had in it though. Like, well, first of all, the last fight, I felt absolutely zero tension in, which is very strange for a Rocky movie. Because normally that end fight, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gripping my seat. Oh my God, dog just hit my door. And it's just kind of like, it kind of scared me. But yeah, it just didn't have that tension in it. But I loved where they were starting with the movie. I loved the relationship they had where it was like, hey, this guy's, you're kind of wondering where he's coming from. Like, hey, he's acting like he doesn't really want anything from you, but he has this drive and this desire to become where he left off before he went in. But it's such an interesting thing because he's not really a bad guy except for the choices he makes, they kind of make him a bad guy. And I don't think they should have done that. I think they should have kept that tension of that emotional, like, his glory, him looking back at the glory days, but they kind of threw in that spoilers for Creed 3, if anyone cares, where he, knew the guy that they had beat up, whatever. I don't know. So there was a little missed opportunity, in my opinion, with the relate, because that point where it hits after that first fight and he kind of gets the championship belt and you're like, oh my gosh, dude. Like I really feel like they should have had him continue on and like basically make Creed come out to fight him rather than Creed challenge him. I feel like he should have been like, you're the champ, you're the real champ. I want to beat you. And he should have kept beating on people until he like was like, fine, I have to step up and do this. I didn't like the fact that he was like, oh, I'm gonna challenge you on air. I feel
that's how the trailer kind of made it seem like it was gonna be, because he's like, oh, I gotta stop him because he's hurting people.
So I feel like that would have been way more impactful and like you rooting for it more, but it was kind of like it kind of threw it into almost a warrior situation where they're like, oh, they kind of became friends and buddies again at the end. And I'm like, I feel like it kind of flip-flopped midway through, and the ending and beginning were similar, but the middle was this weird villain story. I don't know.
It was too short for me.
Yeah.
I thought it was way too short. What do you guys think of that one scene, the anime scene?
Oh,
where they're like fighting. Yeah, and then like crowd like disappears and then
I was torn on that for sure.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea. I like the fact there's no sound. I feel like it would have been almost more interesting if like, I don't know, like the audience was there, but it was like still or something like that. Like they were frozen or something like that. It just felt too CG, especially with the cage when the iron gate shows up and he slams up against the prison gate. I get the the metaphorisms and everything we're putting in that. Is metaphorisms the word? I don't know, but I get what they're doing with that. But
it's
weird. I feel like it was a little out of place. I was afraid when the movie started and it was that first fight whenever Creed's fighting, that champ at the beginning. And it's just like, oh, we're going to do slow-mo, cut, zoom in here. I was like, please do not do all the fights like this. This is not Rocky.
Yeah.
Thank God they didn't. They had a few moments in the last, like a couple scenes in the last one where they.
I can't believe they thought the guy that Creed was training up to be the next champion could fight Lee Majors, because he was like 10 times. He was in a weight class way higher than
I was thinking. I was like, what's going on here?
That's like that. Do you remember The Fighter with Mark Wahlberg?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh yeah, this guy's just been sitting on the couch all. So I was like, what's that couch been feeding him? Like, and he's like 100 pounds bigger than Mark Wahlberg. I'm like, what? Yeah.
Yeah, they don't really stick to weight classes in movies.
Yeah. You just reminded me, Thomas, of they did the line in Creed 3 that I hate so flipping much. Again, show don't tell. Show don't tell. The freaking the fight starts with Creed and his buddy. I don't remember his name. And they do the line where they're like, oh, well, he was the previous champ, but he is the underdog here. It's like, like say something along the lines of, "Hey, he hasn't trained for 3 years." Don't say, "Oh, don't tell us he's the underdog. Show us he's the underdog. Give examples he's the underdog, but don't tell us he's the underdog." 'Cause then you're like immediately like, "Okay, really? Like, come on." I don't know. I hate it. I hate when people do that line or like anything of
For-
that similar.
For me,
Matt
that
Damon
whole-
was in Field of Dreams.
Really? Would you guys kill me?
Oh
if I said
yeah,
I've never seen that movie?
him and Ben Affleck are some of the baseballers, aren't they?
I don't know.
He doesn't.
I'm gonna have to look for him. What do you guys? Has anyone ever seen The Brothers Grimm?
Yes,
Yeah.
terrible movie.
It's pretty bad.
It's terrible.
He's in that.
Ben made me watch that movie. It was
Is
bad.
he bad in that?
He's not bad in it, but it's a terrible movie. There's a
Okay.
weird Gollum silver thing that jumps in a well, and that's kind of all I remember. It's terrible. Such a bad movie.
And then, what do you think about him in Saving Private Ryan? Because I think he's the weakest part.
I've only seen that once, and I don't remember him in it.
I don't remember him in it.
It's not the best part, honestly. The ending, like, I don't know. It seemed kind of tacked on. Hey, you're James Private Ryan from Iowa? Yeah,
Oh, was that him?
Yeah.
yeah. He's Private Ryan.
He's Private Ryan. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's in it for like 2 seconds. Anyway.
So is what's his face? Nathan Fillion. He's also
Oh yeah, I
Private
remember
Ryan.
that.
Oh yeah. Lots of
Um,
people. Vin Diesel's in
Ted
that movie.
Ted Danson's in that movie. For, and
Yeah,
Paul
Ted
Giamatti.
Danson is in that
Paul
movie.
Giamatti's in that movie, which is very odd because he's playing a paratrooper. I'm like, you are 30 years too old and about 100 pounds overweight. So, but he's a paratrooper.
I do like the movies where he just shows up, like Interstellar,
yeah.
Thor and stuff.
Couple cameos. Last thing on Creed 3, I'll just say is Jonathan Majors. Like it sucks that he
He's a bad guy.
that he made because he has such a everything I've seen him. He has such a presence on film and like TV and like the look at it. And it was interesting because I've never seen until the end of this movie. I've always seen him. I've only seen him in a few things, but he's always a villain. Always has that scowl that's like genuinely terrifying. And then I thought I was really impressed with his performance at the end of this. Whenever he and Creed are sitting on the bench, and like the softness in his face really surprised me. I was like, wow, I've never seen his eyes like that. But yeah, it's just like man, come on, dude. Ugh. Sorry, but apparently ABC has an interview with him that's coming out that
Yeah.
he's talking about everything.
So for Creed 3, the whole movie felt kind of flat, like the entire movie. Like, okay, I know the whole Rocky formula, Rocky wins in the end type thing. I get that. But it didn't feel like in this movie, like we were never truly rooting for Creed. I was just like, okay.
Yeah, he was just kind
yeah,
of thrown
he-
in at the end to fight, but
He's got to beat the
Yeah.
bad guy. It felt more like Rocky 5, where you're just like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, cool. You're gonna beat the bad guy. And so I don't know.
Yeah,
I just,
it's gonna be hard to do another one. I mean,
Yeah.
he's doing a sequel to it, so
they
yeah,
are.
especially with
Another
that.
one?
Yeah. But we'll see.
I don't know where else
So-
you can go because also they didn't even mention Rocky. Like I know,
Yeah, he's not a part
like
of it anymore.
Stallone like retired the character and he's like, I'm done, but they didn't even mention him like at all. So
Probably be the daughter just trained up, and it's like
Yeah.
a young
It's gonna
boxing
be Chick
tournament.
Rocky now.
Yeah,
Anyway, last movie I watched was For Joseph. This was actually intentional because it popped up after I watched Creed at work. And I was like, oh, never seen it. And I know Joseph loves it. I watched 42 with Chadwick Boseman.
I do love
Baseball
that
movie. That was a very, very good movie. Very well done. Very consistent with the whole thing. He did such a good job. It also, like, I know, I feel like a lot of movies, like sport movies like that, where it deals with race and everything. It's kind of like you have the race moments, like the moments where it's at. But that it was like literally through the whole movie that I felt tense about it and like, oh, that is so bad. And freaking Alan Tudyk's character.
Yeah, that
Oh
scene,
my
man, is
God, I was
crazy.
like, shut up. Please stop talking. Please stop talking. It was awful. And then like the things at the
Yeah.
end, he was like, yeah, he was fired the next year and he never did it again. I was like, good.
one of my favorite scenes from that is actually when the one of the fathers in the stands is calling Jackie the N-word. Like,
Oh yeah,
Oh,
when he's in
calling it out,
Ohio.
and then the son looks at him and then picks up on that. I'm just like, that's actually
So impactful.
well that's for me, that's how racism is ignorance. And how is ignorance learned? It's through passing down. And so I hate the whole thing of like, oh, people are innately racist. I'm like, no, not really. It has to be taught.
Learned,
Like
yeah.
specific stuff
Yeah.
has to be taught. Separation, yes. Like I get it. Because if you're different, yeah, it's okay. We're different. but that specific type of hate is taught. It's not inherent. And so
Yeah.
I liked that. I was like, that's a very, very genuine take on how racism proceeds.
But what I
Yeah.
love about that scene is they capitalize it because before it shows that son and dad talking, and it's such a well done way to do it because it shows them they're like, oh, we're just people, you know, da, 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 but it turns out the dad's really angry and racist. But the
Mhm.
kid's like, I can't wait to see him. I want to see this guy go out. It's the pitch or whatever, or third baseman.
Pee-wee.
Pee-wee, yeah.
Pee-wee, yeah.
And
Pee-wee Reese.
and then that's whenever Pee-wee, after they say all that stuff, Pee-wee goes over and puts his arm around Chadwick, and you can just see the confusion on the kid's face. Like, hey, look to that guy for
Yeah.
an influence. It was
Well, and it
so
also
good.
not humanize the dad because the dad is a racist, but also that comes from a tradition of
Yeah.
that. But it shows him that he's actually a very caring and loving father. It's just that his views are very skewed. And
yeah.
just because you're racist doesn't mean you're not a good dad. And it's very complicated.
Yes,
And that's a
super
very good scene.
complicated. That was an
Yeah, but-
excellent scene, though.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I love that scene.
Yeah, I love the scene where, you know, he's so angry and he just like wants to hit someone,
man,
you know, and he just like breaks the bat and just
Yeah,
like
he did a fantastic
take-
job in that movie, dude.
Him and Harrison Ford. I forgot Harrison Ford's character.
Dude, blew my
the
mind. He was in the
manager.
movie. I was like, what?
Ranch
but-
Ricky.
He's a what is it? Not Protestant. What is it?
A Methodist.
Methodist. He's a Methodist. He's like, you know what? We got the same God. He has to be all right.
Dude, he was so good. And then like you learn the backstory of why he did it and everything. And I was like, oh man, so good.
Yeah.
So good. Very impactful movie. So
Dude, Chadwick Boseman was such a great actor, man.
Mhm.
excellent. Freaking excellent. So that was all my movies. The only other thing we were watching, apart from my book, is been finally got Alex to watch Haunting of Hill House. And we just watched episode
Oh.
6 before this. Dear Lord, that episode is a masterpiece. Good Lord. And Alex, like, he keeps coming to me every time. He's like, you kept telling me to watch this and you kept telling me to watch this. Why did you not make me watch this? He's in love with the show. And I'm like, yes, yes.
Guess
That's
who's
like when-
watching? Guess
that's
who's
what-
watching The Fall of Usher? Chris binged it. He was loving
I
it.
know. He told me that. I was like, what?
What?
I'm like,
It's
hurt
like
me.
when Jared got you to watch The Warriors and you were like, I love
Just
the
like that.
Warriors now.
Just like that.
Just like that. Yeah, I love
So,
I love that Alex loves it.
which one do I need to watch in reverse order? Because I think that's what I'm going to
You watched Usher, so your next
No, yeah.
so
Sorry.
the one before Usher was Midnight Club.
Club. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to do that. Is watch
It'd be
them in
fun.
reverse
Yeah,
order.
you should.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna save the
Then-
best for last, and the best is like literally Haunting of Hill House is a masterpiece. Every single episode, I'm like, God, this is so good. And that's, episode 6 is I think like Alex and I were trying to count how many oneers. There's very few cuts in the 6th episode. Very, very few. It's so long and it's complex too. Not like, I mean, you'll see. But anyway, the last thing I'm doing, I'm listening to a book. I'm listening to Patrick Stewart's memoir called Making It So. And I told Alex on the way home from work this week, I was like, if fate existed for any human being, it is Patrick Stewart. Like something in the universe wanted this man to act, and it is wild the stories he tells because he comes from like he's describing his life. They didn't have an indoor toilet; they had community toilets because they're very poor, and of course, like early 19 or I think he was born in 1940, and like just poverty didn't. Back then when class really mattered, especially in theater and everything like that, like it was just kind of slowly starting. Like he talks about how it was slowly starting to get up, and he mentions like Richard Harris was one of the ones that was kind of jumping out that wasn't, upper class getting into the theater and everything like that. But yeah, having Patrick Stewart read it to you is amazing because the man has so much personality, and the way he writes is so funny, and he's telling these stories, and he talks about it a few times because I guess there are abandoned bunker shelters. There were 2 of them in the area that they never used. He's like, the only times they were ever used was for cuddling. And that's what he talks about, getting intimate with a girl. And he's like, at one time I got cut cuddling in one of these bunkers. I'm like, so it's an excellent book so far. But it's also very, I'll tell Alex this, it's very different from the ones. So I've listened to, I'm saying Matt Smith's, Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights. I've listened to Bryan Cranston. I've listened to Michael Caine's. And all of them are kind of just like not Green Lights so much. Green Lights is more of kind of like trying to give life lessons and telling how to, Green Lights is the whole thing. But like the other ones are very much telling kind of what happens. Patrick Stewart's is very interesting in how he goes back. He's not telling the things. It's more of him just thinking about his life. Like he still talks about choices that he ponders over that he made back then. He's like, I still wonder about this moment and why this happened, and this conversation I had with this one person, and what happened at this point. It's like he's still like he's it's been probably 80 something years since this happened. I don't know how old he actually is. He's got to be in his 90s, right? Oh wait, yeah, because that's 60. No, he's only 83 because that's how math works. So 70 years ago, we'll say. And he's talking about how he still ponders. You remember it to this day. He's very excellent memory for all this stuff. But and it's just it's interesting how he thinks about the choices. He's not just telling the choices. He's like, and I still don't know what I should the exact right way I should have done that. It's such an interesting way of how he reflects on it, because he's not really telling a story. He's contemplating his choices in life, even though he's obviously glad where he's gotten and everything, but he's still thinking like, why did this happen? Or why were we set in this position? And how did this come about? I don't know. It's super fascinating. So I'm probably 5 hours, maybe into it, 5-6 hours, 18-hour book. So I will report back with more of it. Super good though.
Also, we need more bearded Patrick Stewart, because my God,
Dude,
he doesn't do it
He
enough.
does look good.
I was seeing like an old video. I was like, damn.
He does give whenever he first talks about, he was like, yeah, I had no chance. He's like, my mother and father's side were both bald, so I was bald very early on. He's like, I stood no chance. But man, is it a charming book? It's wonderful.
But he pulls off the ball.
Oh yeah, nails it.
Class.
The best captain.
Yeah, so I have caught up from my watch list now.
All right, I can go next. It's just a ton of YouTube. I'll start off with YouTube. I actually watched quite a bit of movies, but a lot of them overlap with Joseph. The first YouTuber I want to talk about, who I now subscribe to, is Will Tennyson. He's a fitness guy. He had a video called "The World's Most Expensive Gym Membership." Do you guys want to guess that membership price for the year?
$79.
Wait,
for the year.
For the year.
For the year.
Mhm.
Oh, this is gonna be like those. Oh, hold on. It's gonna be $1,200. No. Wait. No. 12,000. 12,000. That's what it was.
No.
I'm gonna say
3,600.
Hold on.
Dang it. Just I was gonna say
No, no.
35.
I'm doing bad math.
36,000. I keep saying 100.
100.
36.
120,000.
No, Joseph was the closest.
Dang.
30,000.
I thought there was a
30,000 a year.
Jeez.
There's a gym in Phoenix, Arizona. A lot of like professional athletes go there.
I gotta
And
check
it's
it
just-
out.
It's just a bunch.
Go sign up.
I mean, they just help the athletes. They're like the personal training. You can't work alone there. You get a personal trainer and you go off and you train with him.
Gosh.
They provide all the meals. It's crazy.
Do you remember when we looked at LA Fitness and DFW, like the prices for
Mhm.
that? It was like $125 a month
Yeah.
for a like not a terrible gym, but there's like a slightly more than like
Oh, I'll get to that, Thomas.
Yeah, we got one of those.
Because
here.
there's another he has another video. It's I survived all the best and worst gyms in New York City. The best gym oh my God, this gym in New York City, I want to go there so freaking bad. There's so much crap. There's like swimming, there's rock climbing, there's like
Lord.
there's a boxing area, there's like a ring, there's like your standard gym equipment, basketball courts, tennis courts. It's crazy. And it's like on the pier. So it's like by the water. It's so awesome. And then the worst one was just like it was like in the basement of a building, and there's no windows, and he was just like, this is a prison. But he's really
old
like
school iron. Get down there.
But he's a really charismatic guy, and I love his videos. He does a lot of videos like that. The most expensive gyms, the cheapest gyms, the oldest gym, the most recent gym. And then I started following a guy called bad YouTube name, but John Solo. But he does what he calls like very messed up origins of stories, which is really just the first. So like Snow White, but like the original story. So it's a lot more.
Brothers Grimm.
Yeah.
versions.
So the first video I watched from him was the very messed up origins of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and you find out the prototype Wonkas are the Wonkas in the book, and it's like, oh, no wonder they changed that for the movies. But he does a lot of that, and then the series I've been going through is the Egyptian pantheon, because I don't know a lot about it, but it's very interesting.
A lot of incest.
Yeah, he has one about Thoth.
Cutting off
That was pretty cool.
parts.
Yeah, that was that was it, Thoth. And then another YouTuber named Jeffiet. He did a video on, the skeleton trumpet GIF. It's like a 3D
Oh,
skeleton.
Mr. Bones
Yeah.
Wild Ride.
no, I think that was something else.
It was about that GIF and how people had no idea who created it. It was just on forums and stuff like that. It was just always like in the zeitgeist, but no one actually knew like who made it. He figured it out with the help of someone on the internet, and apparently they passed away during COVID, so he never really got to like tell them, oh, did you know he got famous, or if they actually knew, because it was a lady that just did it on her spare time. She just made like animations and stuff like that, so it was very interesting. And then he did a video on David Firth, the creator of Salad Fingers. He did a video on his sock series, which is based off of David Firth's dreams. And it's David Firth, so it's always like really weird and out there and kind of creepy. But that was a really good video on it. And then I've been following this guy for a while. I just wanted to finally like give him a shout out. Is Nile Red. He's like a chemist. He just does a lot of chemistry experiments and stuff like that. He had one on making purple gold, which is apparently a thing.
Oh, yeah. It's like that thing's like, this is gold. Yeah.
So I was glued to this video because it is such a tedious and like just an ordeal of making purple gold. And all this effort, it was like years, and then he had enough was to make it ring. He spent like $5,000 on gold just to make this, and he made a ring. It's pretty cool. And then I didn't subscribe. I haven't seen enough from him, but I watched the Lucky Tug, and his video, every number in Thomas and Friends explained, and it just goes over where they got their numbers, how they got their numbers and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I used to know the numbers.
And just the naming scheme, or just why they numbered them like that. And some of them are based off of actual trains and stuff like that. It was pretty interesting. Last YouTuber I subscribe to, Alex Yard. He does a lot of music theory, but in video games. He does it all on most of his videos are Sonic music, because they're just the best. The first video I watched though was the Sandopolis level in Sonic 3. He just goes over the music theory for that, why it sounds so like you're in a desert, why it's so ominous, and how music theory plays a part in that. Very interesting videos. That's all I watched in YouTube, so I'm going to go on to movies. I watched this with Jonah and Joseph. We finally watched Shin Kamen Rider. Good movie.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
I think it got better as it went going.
It's definitely Sentai. It's definitely like Power Rangers.
You're gonna watch the Ultraman one next, because those are both in my watch list.
If we
Yeah.
can find it. We haven't found it yet.
This one was written and directed by Anno, as well as Shin Godzilla. I know Ultraman isn't directed by Anno, just written.
Okay.
But yeah, it's really goofy. It's just goofy, but I was entertained.
I want the Beetleborgs one next.
And then I watched we talked about that for the podcast. Then we watched Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. We finally got to watch that. Really good movie. I was
very good, yeah.
Dude, the wolf. Don't want to give spoilers, but man, that's a good character.
So we recently watched the Ninja Turtles movie, which is in the same style of like Spider-Verse, this and that. I think this one was a lot better than Ninja Turtles. The freaking little dog was just very
He
heartwarming.
shouldn't have been as good of a character as it was, but he was. He was great.
I really liked the part where he retires because he's afraid.
Oh
The
yeah.
whole
that
movie's
was good.
about coming to terms with your mortality, and he's just like hanging up the cape. Well, actually, he buries the cape. And he's like, I'm just gonna play it safe from now on. And then he just gets like a beard, and he's just like out of it.
Is it weird that both of those movies are way better than they should be, honestly? Because like the first one, I remember seeing that with me and my brothers and my dad. We're like, oh, it's a goofy movie. And we go see it, we're like, wow, that was kind of good. And then this one
Antonio
comes out.
Banderas is a cat. There's no way it can't
There's
be
no way it
good.
can't be good. Yeah. And then this one comes out like, okay, they're just doing a cash grab. And then you watch this, you're like, holy crap.
I
This
think
was amazing.
I actually like the bad guy, the Jack Horner guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Funny.
You mean you're a bad guy all along? He's like, yeah.
I do love Jiminy in this. He's like, you're terrible.
Oh,
No, you're
yeah.
you're
Yeah.
horrible.
Oh no.
I think it did perfectly. It made a movie for kids and adults. There's a lot of adult themes in this, like the whole coming to terms with your mortality, and then like this whole subplot with him and Soft Paws, like he left her at the altar and stuff like that. But then there's like just goofy stuff like Jiminy and stuff like that. But I really liked it. I really enjoyed it.
Did you?
And then we
think that-
watched.
Oh, sorry.
It was funny how.
No, go ahead.
Go
Uh,
ahead, yeah.
Did you think that the wolf was Ron Perlman for a while?
No.
No.
Oh,
Okay.
it
I
was.
thought it was. I was just like, this sounds kind of like Ron Perlman, but I don't think that's him.
Some
it's-
Brazilian actor.
Yeah, it's a Brazilian guy, but Ron Perlman does.
Dude, I
really
thought his
good-
character was awesome though.
Dude, like that whole monologue with him in the bar.
Yeah, it's so
I
good.
freaking love that scene.
I even like the end when he's like,
yeah.
he's trying to be tough, but he's kind of like, okay, you learned your lesson.
Yeah.
He still had to play it off like, oh, I'll
It's
get
like
you
there's no
next time.
fun anymore.
Yeah.
I love the coins in the eyes every time he sees them too. It's just like,
Mhm.
man, this thing just knows. It's so good.
Yeah.
It was funny how Jiminy Cricket was James Stewart. And we just like watched A Wonderful Life for Christmas. And
Then we watched Chicken Run: The Rise of the Nugget, the
dude,
sequel to Chicken Run.
do not. If you watch this movie, you're gonna crave nuggets. So don't do it, man. If you don't want to eat some chicken nuggets.
Not bad, not good.
I actually like this one.
It's all right. It's just not like wow, like the first one. It's I don't know. What do you have to say about it?
I liked it. It's got a new setting. It's very like it reminded me of Incredibles for some reason. And I thought the characters did well. I wasn't expecting much from this one because the sequel to Chicken Run, it's like, oh, who cares about that? But it was
Especially how
charming.
long ago it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and none of the actors are the same. They're all different. So I was like, man, this can't be good. But it was still charming, and the characters were pretty good, and even the daughter character was pretty good. And the bad guy came back, and we were like, oh, it's just Tweety.
I don't remember anything about the first movie.
Yeah.
I was surprised that the daughter is played by the girl who played Ellie in The Last of Us.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing.
Because I forget she's a British actress, so I was like, oh, okay. But no, it's not bad. It's just I liked it. Then I watched The Sound of Freedom
Oh.
because
I was
Joseph
gonna
mentioned last
watch it
time.
this
I-
week.
I
and
was
I didn't
too,
get to it.
Same.
Joseph mentioned that it was on Prime. Really good movie. I want to talk about Jim Caviezel real fast. Something about the dark like hair or like the light hair and then the dark hair base. Like he looked really, really cool in this movie. But yeah, it's a serious watch.
I've heard. Okay, this is what I've heard. It's not an easy watch, even though they don't show anything.
Yeah, it's not graphic
Yeah.
or anything, but
But it's still
No.
a hard
yeah, it's
movie
not
to
easy.
watch.
Yeah, 'cause it's
Yeah.
100% like real and
Yeah.
very, very disturbing.
Yeah, I was surprised it was like PG-13. I didn't really know much going in. So I was surprised
made
by
that
that.
studio a ton of money. I can't like they're set for life now.
The end is very tense. But it's a really good movie. And then last, I watched Barbie. Jonah refused to watch it with us, so I was like, "Oh, just watch
Oh, you didn't watch it with me?
it." Jonah just said no, so I was like, "Oh, no one's gonna watch it," so I watched it.
Yeah,
gotta say-
I
you
gotta
gotta
watch
say-
it alone.
You gotta say no like Jonah though. No.
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 Watch it alone? Dang it.
Yeah,
I did.
Have a
Jared
night to yourself,
Jared did.
Joseph.
Whoa.
This movie
He's
is
got Luna. Look at her.
This movie is exactly what I thought in the theaters. It does not stray from what I thought, and it is exactly. I mean, it is exactly what I thought. It is.
You
It
were
did-
the one who wasn't hyped for it, right?
Yeah,
were
you guys
"This
are like,
is
"Oh
no
no,
way
this is gonna be
good."
this is gonna be pretty good." I was like, "No, guys, it's not. It's gonna be this," and it was that. Ken was good. I mean, I like when Ryan Gosling is goofy. I don't like when he's serious, like Driver and other stuff like that, or like Blade Runner.
That
I like when he's
spy
just
movie on Netflix.
We've got to
Rayman.
watch that, Jared. Nice guys.
I like Nice Guys.
We've got to watch.
Nice
that.
guys, you guys will love that.
I've seen it.
I'm
It's
calling it
amazing,
now.
but
Yeah.
So
Jared
you're
hasn't
probably
seen it.
gonna like
Oh, so good.
the Fall Guy, right?
But it's-
Yeah, that's why I
it's
said
two of
that was
Jared's
pretty
least
alright.
favorite actors, Ryan Gosling and Russell
Yeah,
Crowe.
Russell
But
Crowe,
that's
yeah.
what I want. That's why I want him to watch it
Yeah.
because it's completely
It's so
different
good.
from anything they've really done. And so, oh,
I don't know what to think about it. I like the Kens. I like Mimbos. They're funny. Oh, the surprise character was Michael Cera's. I forget the
Alan.
name.
Alan.
Alan. Yeah, he was good in it. But yeah, it was exactly what I thought. So
All right. Is that all?
yeah.
All right. So since you knocked some of mine out, I will go next.
wow.
First, gotta mention my Arizona Wildcats beat Oklahoma in the Alamo Bowl game. So very
Go get 'em,
excited. It was a great game, man. They were losing by like 2 scores at the end. They had to come back. They did. It was awesome. Bear down, Arizona.
Jared has something to say. Let him say it.
Go ahead, Jared.
Jolsa didn't tell me, because I don't really watch sports. Jolsa didn't tell me there's a Pop-Tart Bowl.
Oh my!
And
I
that-
saw
it-
this.
And in the Pop-Tart Bowl, they ate the mascot.
He like came out of the toaster thing, right?
He went in the toaster,
Yeah,
and then out came a pastry that the team ate.
it was weird.
It was cool. I don't know.
Pop-Tarts.
I don't know why you didn't talk about that.
Well, Michael,
know
they'll get a
about it.
toaster strudel
There you
bowl
go.
next,
Give me
all
a
right?
toaster bowl. Give me a strudel
It won't
bowl.
be as good. It won't be as good.
You're the only person I
It'll
know that
just take
prefers
longer to
those, by
prepare.
the way.
the not
It'll
that
be
ser-
too cold in the middle.
the not that serious podcast talked about this.
Okay.
A lot of them went for Pop Tarts.
Yeah, man.
And
and,
for
and nobody
strudels.
can cut the little like the icing
The
thing,
icing
right?
thing.
And so when you squeeze it, it goes.
It's perfect.
You're like,
You just
"No."
peel it.
I know. Remember the commercials where they like make art with the icing?
Yeah, art with it. Yeah,
That doesn't work.
I'm gonna start buying toast strudels and just posting toast strudel art to you guys all the time.
It's like
What your
omelet,
Instagram is,
toaster strudel.
And I'm gonna get a thermometer and stick it on each side so all of them read the same thing. So it's like perfectly cooked.
Another thing we got to talk about: controversy in the anime/manga world. Apparently, Crunchyroll. I think it's Crunchyroll. With the translation, they have been putting their kind of political statements in the translation, so you're not
Interesting.
getting like the 1-for-1 Japanese to English translation, and a lot of people are upset about that.
How so? Like, I mean, like, what are they changing?
They're not changing stuff. They're like adding their like I don't know what else to call it, but woke views
agendas and
into
stuff?
anime. Yeah, agendas. That's good
That's
word for it.
weird.
Yeah, they're
Interesting.
putting. So a lot of people are mad about that. I think it's more on the manga side than the anime side. So
Well, that's kind
Uh,
of sad because Crunchyroll was like the thing where like if you wanted the direct translation, that was the place to go.
yeah,
Because like Funimation, I know they add stuff. They have like writers for like anime sometimes, but yeah, that's weird.
So there's a big thing, like they're trying to push for like AI to do it, just so it's more faithful to the Japanese translation. So kind of big controversy going on around the YouTubes. What did I watch? I watched Jared mentioned Puss in Boots, which I liked. It was a little long, but I liked it. I really, and then I liked the Shrek little Easter eggs in there.
Oh,
That
yeah,
was
yeah, that
kind
was
of
very
cool. Chicken Run, like I said, made me hungry for chicken nuggets. And it was surprisingly, I liked it more than I thought it would. Shin Kamen Rider, it just throws you in, man. The beginning of the movie is just like, here it is. This is what you get. It was just like blood squirting. It's like Power Rangers with blood, man. I like the other Kamen Rider. That was cool. It was very, very anime where there's like another like copy of him. Yeah, it was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. What else we got? I saw the second Aquaman, Aquaman, the Lost Kingdom, I think it's
Yeah.
called, or something like that. It was pretty much Aquaman 1. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. There was nothing really to love. I mean, I really wanted more from the Aquaman and Orm relationship because they made it look like it was going to be kind of a buddy cop movie between these two guys that are kind of opposite, and it was that, but they kept doing the same joke over and over again. It was kind of stupid. And then for some reason he makes him eat a cockroach, but it didn't really pay out because he's like, "Hey, it's the lobster of the land. Eat this cockroach." And you think he would like laugh at him while he's eating it, but they just like kind of walk on. And then the end credits. I'm going to spoil the end credits
I'm not gonna see this.
because
Yeah.
Aquaman tells him how great hamburgers are on the surface world. So he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to go get a hamburger," and it looks like a very decent hamburger. And then he sees a cockroach and he puts the hamburger in the cockroach in the hamburger, and then he eats it. And that is the end of the Snyderverse DC.
Wow.
So,
I do have to say, I meant to bring up the hamburgers in Creed 3 whenever.
Oh,
yeah.
the diner.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a better looking hamburger in my life, and I wanted that so badly.
I was gonna
looked
bring that up when you're talking
amazing,
about
dude.
it.
Looked amazing.
that is a topic for a future bonus stuff is food in movies. So look for that soon. I erased it, so it says Aquamoon. We watched Rebel Moon.
Aquamoon.
Another movie we saw I saw was Boys in the Boat. This was very good. It's very Jared. Could you tell me like the story of every sports movie, like the structure of it? Can anyone tell me the structure of a
Team
sports
that
movie?
hasn't won in ages gets a new coach. The new coach leads them to victory. Happy days.
No. So a underdog is misrepresented in society. He is given a chance by a overbearing coach that really just wants to love a son, and then that guy either leads a team to victory or becomes like the new championship or champion.
Are sports movies just Hallmark movies?
Pretty much.
It's
They're
Guy Hallmark
They're,
movie.
they're Guy
yeah.
Hallmark movies. is what they are.
So you guys got it pretty much right. You forgot the part where they hit a low part and they're not communicating, and the team's
Oh,
kinda
the all is
struggling.
lost moment. Damn.
Yeah, and they gotta kind of get a speech to get back together.
Yep.
This movie is like serious Cool Runnings, if you remember that. It's
Do I
because
remember Cool Runnings?
they need.
Palula.
We didn't watch that. We always watch it around this time of the year, and we haven't watched it yet, but we still got time. So it's like, but it's good. It's a good movie. It's directed by George Clooney. I really think the lead actor in this could do like, I think this could be his breakout role, and we'll see him in a lot more stuff. Because me and Jonah were talking, and we're like, "Hey, who would we get to be the live action Spy Family?" And I picked this guy for Lloyd. So I don't know who would be a good. What's her name? Floor.
Your
Your.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
how do you get an Anya?
It's just a kid with pink hair.
But she's so cute in the anime.
I don't know. Have you seen those live action productions of like the plays that they're doing?
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Pretty funny.
That I think that would make actually a good live action movie is Spy Family. I think they could do it. You
Nothing
just
like
have to find a really hot actress to play you. That'd be the hard part. So Boys in the Boats we did.
oh, and I was just thinking Joseph is basically Sanka at this time of year. Like
Yeah.
when he
Yes.
walks out into like the frozen tundra, that is Joseph. That is 100% Joseph.
I want to hibernate. I don't want to go outside at all. I'm gonna save that for last time. I started Fargo season 5 because they said it's like a standalone. So and I tried Fargo when it started. I didn't really like it. Season 5 would be good if they wouldn't talk. It's because they go very heavy into like the gun loving cultures or kind of stupid people. They do
North
that a lot.
Dakota?
Yeah. Yeah. So they do that kind of red state or a bunch of rednecks. And that part's the worst part. But there is some very good like cinematography in this and like the very dreadful music that plays during the crimes. It's really cool. So if they would just shut up and not talk about their politics, it would be a very good movie or a very good show. And then I continuing Reacher season 2. Episode 4 and episode 5 were kind of slow. Episode 4, they fight a biker gang, and that's the coolest part. Because Reacher just like destroys. There's a lot of arms that are bending the wrong way, a lot of legs bending the wrong way. Reacher's just like stepping on people.
Sorry, you reminded me of Rebel Moon, and I was about to start complaining, but I can't do it.
Episode 5. These were very like CBS talk about what's going, like solve the case. Let's talk about what's going on. Season episode 5. The only cool part was there's like these 2 snipers that they fight, and they're kind of like the worst snipers ever. They're fighting in a graveyard. Just reminded me of kind of Warzone when we used to fight in the graveyard.
Could be worse. It could be that Red Dot guy from that movie Red Dot that we saw.
Oh
I forgot
yeah,
we watched
I forgot
that.
about
Forgot
that movie.
that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, terrible movie. Terrible movie.
I remember not thinking it was that bad.
No, it was bad. It was very bad.
Episode 6, they confront the boss, the bad guy. Pretty cool fight. There's this cop character that's really cool. I really liked him. I really like his character. He's kind of the like New York tough cop guy. And they make a Seinfeld reference. Well, at least I thought it was a Seinfeld reference. Because Reacher's buying a bunch of stuff at the convenience store, and he goes, in a Clark bar. Which is, if you guys remember the party episode where they're going to a party on Seinfeld, and they're trying to spend $100 at the newsstand because he won't break it. So he's like, in a Clark bar. So yeah, Reacher season 2. Like I said, I like the story better in this one. I like the supporting cast better in this one. It did have a cameo from season 1, which is pretty cool. So yeah, Reacher 2. I would say an improvement on season 1, but it still feels kind of like a CBS drama every once in a while. I think I missed this one a couple weeks. When Jonah was visiting me, we were watching old movies. I said we watched a couple of Hitchcocks. We also watched Bullet because I've never seen Bullet. I've always seen the chase scene of Bullet, but I've never seen the actual movie of Bullet. Very of its time. I love Steve McQueen. Steve McQueen is just so cool.
He's so cool in that movie, though. Like with the jacket and just he's cool.
Yeah. And this movie just feels very much like it could have took place like nowadays, just because it's kind of about a cop and corruption and not a happy ending at all. But yeah, Steve McQueen was one of the coolest actors. And he's a race car driver too, so very cool
Which
guy.
He did almost all of his own driving in that. Same with like Great Escape. There's only like one jump where they couldn't let him do it. They're like, no, you can't do it. They had to force him off the bike.
Very the chase scene is famous. I mean, you guys have probably seen it without ever seeing the movie. It's funny. I told Jonah it's funny because so famous Bullet Mustang is that green Mustang that everyone wanted. The bad guys are driving like a black Dodge Charger or something like that. And it's funny because their car is like falling apart right during the chase. You just see like hubcaps flying. It's like wow.
Okay.
You
So do you like this chase scene or the French Connection chase scene more? Because I
I like
put
French
those on this-
Connection.
I kind of do too. Like I like Steve McQueen like more because I think he's just cooler. I mean, I love Gene Hackman, but like Popeye Doyle is great. But the fact that like the French Connection was like not regulated, they did that like what do you call it? Unlicensed. They just shot it in New
Yeah.
York. That kind of
Yeah,
makes it cooler.
I think French Connection is more tense.
Yeah.
Bullet's just kind of like you're like, oh, look at the cars.
And okay, I know
Um,
you hate Ford, but come on, that is a
Yeah, I do like the Bullet Mustang.
that's a pretty cool Mustang.
I like. I forget what the other Ford. There's another Ford car. I mean, I like the GT40. Is cool. And then there's another one that I think it's the Galaxy.
Mhm.
I like that car. But yeah, the airport scene was pretty cool too when he's chasing the bad guy around. Yeah, so cool movie. And Jonah pointed this out to me, and I didn't know this, and I was just my mind was blown. The guy who directed this directed Kroll.
Oh Lord.
Michael, you've never seen Kroll, have you?
I don't know.
Don't-
Either of these movies
don't-
are.
Don't do it. It's,
You might have to
Joseph
show
will lie
Michael.
to you and say it's good. You should watch it.
Kroll is
No.
great, man.
It
Has the worst main character.
has the worst weapon of all time. That is such a stupid weapon. I'm sorry.
The glade. It is kind of dumb. that they-
Oh God.
It's actually a key, not a weapon.
You know what I
These are
mean.
facts, right, Thomas?
No,
Liam
it's a
Neeson
terrible
is
movie.
in this movie.
Of
man.
course he is.
So-
A young
It's like-
Liam Neeson.
It's like the worst parts of like heavy metal, but they put it in live action.
There's a very stupid Cyclops in that movie.
Dude, he's a good character.
So confused on what this movie.
It's not good, Michael. It's not good.
From chasing cars to Cyclopses. Like where's
It's
the line?
so stupid.
It's so bad.
We might have to watch this after we watch
Oh,
Rebel Moon
no.
Part 2.
Group
This is
bad
like
movie
this is
night.
kind of like My House Suit. Like this is it's
That's
so
the biggest
stupid. It's so stupid.
Michael loves it.
All right.
I think that's all I have for this time. So go ahead, Thomas. Finish bonus
Take
stuff
us
for us.
out.
Okay, I got like a bunch of random stuff because I'm not in school right now, and so my brain is kind of like whatever it tracks to, it like autopilots and just tries to finish it out. So the first one is a podcast called the Unsubscribed Podcast. It's a bunch of it's not really gun tubers, but kind of that.
Airsofters?
No, that's T-Rex arms. It's kind of that community. Like a lot of them are vets. But it's just very interesting. Wendigoon was on there and it was very good. They actually all talked about his Blood Meridian video and how it got them to read the book.
Dude, that guy is everywhere, man. They're
They're
trying to get him on a channel I'm watching, and so I'll probably see him eventually because I don't know who the guy is.
What's her name? Call Me Chris. She was on it, and she's not like anything related to like gun tuber or military or anything like that. They just had her on. It's
You'd
a lot
like
of fun.
Wendigoon, Joseph. I feel
I
like
think
you'd
so.
like him.
I think you would, especially like all the random crap on there. I think you would.
He used to do like in the beginning of his channel because he's just like a youth pastor or like he used to have like Bible stories that were pretty interesting. But
His angel video is still one of his best. in my
Yeah.
opinion. In fact, he has like a new tier list of his videos.
I want him to go back to ranking gun
I
tubers.
know.
That's hilarious.
Oh no, that's the thing is like Brandon was on there. He's just like, yeah, I'm B-lister over here. He's like, you'll never let that go, will you? He's like, no, I will kill you. And then the next podcast I listened to So the return of Bernie Burns from Rooster Teeth. He has his own podcast with him and Ashley, his wife now. It's called Morning Somewhere. And all they wanted to do is just like do they like morning podcast, but they hate getting up. They live in Scotland now.
Oh,
And he's like, well, we could record like during the day and release it, like automatically release it in the morning. We have a morning show. Cool. It's great. It's great to hear Bernie again. And I forgot how much I actually just liked Bernie talking. Like I listened to some of the RT stuff like after he left, but it was never the same. It really wasn't.
He's just he's just a character, and he's
He's
just
so
great. He's great.
he's so funny. Like he's so funny. And it's just like even some of like his political stuff gets hilarious. He's like, I'm getting too worked up. I just need to get off this topic. I just can't do this. But yeah, it's great. And it's only, and what I like about it too, he keeps it under like 25 minutes. So it's just a very like brief scattering of what's kind of on their minds and what's going on. But it's very charming, and I listen to it when I drive to work, and I'm pretty much done by the time I walk in. So it's kind of nice. But yeah, I really recommend it. It's like super trending right now in Australia and Scotland, which I think is hilarious. Mostly because Bernie's famous in Australia because there's a place in Australia called Bernie, and he had the rights to the name Bernie.com, and he had to give it up to them, but he's like, why you guys want it? And it turns out Gus from Rooster Teeth said, put on Bernie.com, Bernie likes dick. So like, can you just change it to something
get
less
it off.
offensive? So yeah. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. I really recommend listening to it in the morning when you're driving to work. Next podcast was Creepcast with Wendigoon and Papa Meat, who is kind of taking a not a break really, but he's doing some different stuff, which is kind of interesting. So I know Jared's probably sad about that, if I had to guess. So
Not really. He explained it pretty well.
well, I know, but
He's not gonna be strictly doing parodies of stuff, like
Yeah.
especially about YouTubers. He just wants to do stuff that he's into, kind of doing it for him now.
Yeah, and he's not really doing an algorithm style like schedule anymore. He's just like when I'm doing it, it's when I'm doing it. So I think it's kind of cool that he's reached a part in that
Let's
career,
say
in
that's
his
when you
career.
made it.
Yeah, well, it's the same with Wendigoon. Like he just does what he wants to now, which I think is really cool. But this one
I told
specific-
Michael when we get big, we'll just review sandwiches and burgers.
that will be your
We're just gonna
channel.
talk about what we're
Um,
eating while we're eating it.
But the one that it's called Creepcast because they do like creepy pastas, and the one they did was the Russian sleep experiment, which is like one of the OG creepy pastas.
We did it on this show.
We did do it on this show.
It still
This-
blows my mind that the image from that is just a Spirit Halloween
Mhm.
decoration.
That's
When I first saw it, I was like, "Oh,
yeah.
But
I
now
know.
I'm like, oh.
I distinctly remember me, you, and Johnny sitting down in our living room listening to this, and he's like, "We can't look at this image. We need to look at kittens or something." So we're looking at kittens while this very terrifying story is going on. But yeah, that was just kind of a fun one to go through.
real fast." They did one on Jeff the Killer, and Wendigoon tries to do a kid's voice, and terrible.
I love when Hunter does his like his voice.
Mm.
He's like especially his disturbing voice, I'm going to kill you type stuff. And like Wendigoon's like but yeah, so it's a fun watch. The next one I watched was YouTube now. Was Garantham, it's one of my gun tuber guys. He actually got a hold of an AN-94 Russian rifle, which I don't know if you remember this one in Call of Duty. It's the one where the magazine's like at a tilt like this. So there are only 2 of these in existence. There's one owned by the Russian government and one in a private owner's hands here in America. This gun is like the rarest gun ever made.
Hmm.
It is valued at around $1 million, and he got to shoot it. Go ahead.
Did they only make 2, or are these the only 2 like remaining ones?
The only 2 remaining. It was a very limited product it was basically Russia trying to create a better assault rifle for their military. didn't really turn out very well, even though it's a cool weapon, but it just doesn't. It was too expensive to make, and so they do the AK-12 now, which is a piece of junk. But it's kind of cool. It has a barrel that recoils like this inside of the chassis, and it can bump fire. It can bump fire when you pull the trigger. It pulls 2 shots, but it's technically not fully auto. It's just 2 shots because the barrel goes back and forth. But it's like the rarest gun he's ever had on the channel, and the guy's like, you can only shoot 300 rounds. You can't shoot any more. That's it. So, which they end up shooting like 1,500 rounds when they do like a review. So it's very limited. But it was kind of cool is that they got to shoot literally the rarest gun in the world at the moment. So, and then so I got into Superstore. I don't know if you guys have ever watched that show.
Seen a few episodes, I think.
I watched the whole thing, just straight through because I had nothing else to do, and it was good. I didn't really like the last season because it focuses completely on COVID, and it just kind of like made me feel bad. I did like I liked the ending. Like I liked how a lot of the characters had the characters like arcs came to an end, so I like that. But like that last season was like this is pretty painful. And then for some reason I rewatched The Bear, which is very easy to do because it's only like 8 or like less than 20 episodes. It's very short. I didn't know this though. The director for episode 7 of the first season is Hiro Mura, same guy that did a lot of Donald Glover's music videos when he's doing Childish Gambino. He especially did that one, that This Is America one. So, but I rewatched that. I was like, oh yeah, no, I can definitely tell. It's his style. And then I texted Michael about this. I got into Ted Lasso. Finished the first season. I'm on the second season. I'm not really liking the second season all that much. It just kind of got weird with some of the politics in it. I was like, well, that came kind of out of nowhere. And so they're kind of like not focusing on Ted. And so I'm like, can we just go back to Ted? Like, I think he's more charming, but I don't know. We'll see where it goes. So I did watch Christmas movies. I watched Gundam Wing Endless Waltz, which is great. Forgot how much I love that movie. So cheesy, and yet it's just the best thing, Jared. It's the best. It's the best thing. Friend Troa is amazing, by the way. So and then I watched The Green Knight, which is a Christmas movie because it takes place on Christmas. Watched a lot of deep lore about that, and it's still a weird movie. It's still an odd movie, but I really like it. And then I think it's kind of funny is that we mentioned Charlie Hunnam. I rewatched King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, that Guy Ritchie adaptation.
Is that the one with Keira Knightley?
No, that's the Clive Owen one. I like this one a lot. I think this is a really good fantasy movie.
I can't remember ever seeing this one.
It's very different from a lot of Guy Ritchie's stuff, but honestly, I think it's one of the better takes on Arthur I've seen in a while.
I think I've seen it.
The music is also like one of the best parts of this movie. Then I watched Napoleon Dynamite with my brother.
I love that movie.
That movie, I forgot how much that movie has affected our sense of humor. Like, I just right, I know, but like I like watch things. I'm just like, that's us. Like I do that. Like we'll come into like to the room, and he's just like smacks Napoleon or something. I'm like, yeah, that happens. Yeah, I do that with Jared or something. And apparently, by the way, there's an after credits scene. I never knew that. Yeah. Napoleon comes in on a horse to the soundtrack from The Man from Snowy River. I was just like, what's going on? I've never seen this.
Gets married.
Yeah. And so, that movie's just great. That movie's a classic. That movie needs to be on the Criterion Collection.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I watched is the series What We Do in the Shadows. It's a take on the movie of the same name. Really good so far. I'm like in season 3. There's a character in there named Guillermo, and he's like
the dog from Puss in Boots 2.
Is that him?
Mhm.
Really? I did not know that. I don't know if he's the best part or if Matt Berry's the best part.
Dude, I don't know. What's the main vampire? He's just Corey, and I love him. Oh, why can't I think of his name right now?
Nandor?
Nandor. Yes,
Nandor is
Guillermo.
amazing.
He's
It's like,
oh my
oh.
gosh, he's amazing. And it just
Guillermo,
looks
if you
just
could
like
give-
Corey.
If you could get the versions, Guillermo. Thank you.
Show's ending next season's last one.
That's what I've heard. And I'm almost like done with
It's a
the
good
third
time
season.
for it too, because it's like
It's good time.
I mean, like it's like it's still really good, and they haven't gone too far with
Oh,
it.
okay.
So I'm like, this last season, hopefully it ended
Well,
and just be really strong.
I did learn that what do you call it? What is his name? Jermaine and Taika
Clement?
Waititi. Yeah, Jermaine Clement. Yeah, and
Oh,
Taika
yeah.
Waititi are very hands on with this.
Mhm.
So I think that's why the what do you call it? The quality is very similar to the movie. Is because they're very very involved with the process. Weirdly, what's really impressed me about this show, though, have you seen it, Michael?
Mhm.
Okay. What impresses me is the practical effects in this. Like,
True.
they are genuinely good for being a TV production, but they also look kind of cheap. But that's kind of
Yeah,
part
it's
of
kind
it.
of just like
Is
kind
that
of campy a little bit.
yeah, but like when they fly, it looks very unnatural. But that's what's funny about it. Yeah, bat. He's like, but he's like, I love the rivalry between what's his name, Matt Berry's character and the guy who wants his hat. It's like,
Oh my God.
you are indeed the most devious bastard in New York. It's just,
man.
I just, God, I love I love Matt Berry. I just
He
love
is
Matt
amazing.
Berry. Like since IT Crowd, he's just no
Oh,
one
no.
else. He's like William Shatner. Like nothing about the inflection of your words should work, but everything you're doing is great, and I can't stop watching this. Like it's great. Like I love the council scene when all the vampires show up. It's like, is Tom and Brad not showing up? No, they couldn't make it. They couldn't make it. What about Robert? No, he wanted to put this behind him. He's just not interested. Hello, Wesley. We got you on here. Hello. And it's just it's good.
So dull.
Yeah, it's like she speaks the bullshit. So yeah, it's a great show. If you like the movie, you'll like the show. So I think that's it. Again, scatterbrained. So
All
That's
right. We've come to the end of the show. Any last words from you fellows?
There was a YouTube thing that I did watch that I don't, you guys know I don't watch that much YouTube, but I do love Jay.
What?
I love
What?
Jay Susens. He's a tech guy, does a lot of computer reviews, stuff like that. I came up with a video talking about his health and how it's poor recently, and he's trying to figure out. They've been trying to figure out over the past year what's going on, and so he's just kind of like, "Hey, I'm gonna not be able to do as much. Like I've been really struggling to put on the character that I put on. Not that he doesn't really a character; he's just a little extra whenever he's doing his videos." And so he's talking about how much he's struggling. He gets done, and he's like, "I basically fall asleep after I get to the recording, and it's only like an hour. Like he's really struggling health wise." So I just,
That sucks.
yeah, just hoping he
Dang.
figures it out and is able to take the time off he needs. So yeah, I was a little sad. I was pretty sad about that. Yeah, just wanted to put thoughts out there for him.
Yeah, the only guy Michael watches on YouTube.
you can't go anywhere. What will I watch on YouTube?
I know. What will he watch? There's a lot of training videos you can watch on there.
I'm sure there are, Joseph. I'm sure there are.
Don't ever complain about me and Jared's watching habits, by the way. Like
I
we
don't
walk into a
complain,
room.
I just get confused. It's like you guys are talking about some Pokemon universe where all these names come out. I'm like, what? It's like there's a
Wendigoon, I choose you.
Papagosaur. Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like a universe that I don't understand, that I'm not a part of.
True.
Yeah.
True. All right. So that's bonus stuff for this time. Like, subscribe, and notify yourself for even more good stuff to come. And we will see you next time.
Recording